Hey, pay attention, therapists. You could actually get paid to help people. Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins. I'm a professional psychologist. I've been in practice now for 30 years, and I've discovered that your sweet skills as a therapist could actually get you paid. There were times in my career where I felt like what I was doing was simply a service project. I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why a lot of therapists are barely even paying the bills, and 3 strategies that can help you to create an economic engine. Here's something you may have already noticed. Most therapists and counselors get into the field for the money. That's not what draws them to the field. The ones that I know get into the field because they have a true desire to help people. They really want to make a difference in the lives of their clients. Have you noticed this as well? This means that the primary drivers for helping professions have nothing to do with compensation. I've noticed that sometimes that creates a mindset that makes it difficult for helping professionals like therapists to actually get paid well for what they do. Here's another point. Most therapists get excellent training in clinical skills. We learn how to do motivational interviewing or communication skills or strategies for addressing challenges in emotional or mental health, working on relationships. We're really good at that stuff. In terms of building a business, marketing, sales, not so much. In fact, I remember my clinical training, we never even talked about business. We didn't talk about how to create an economic engine that allows us to go out there and help more people. This means that most therapists end up working for someone else or for an agency or a big clinic, often that is operated by somebody who went through the MBA school next door. They tend to have no idea how to actually bring clients through the door and end up depending on other people to make sure that their schedule is full. I know. I've been there and done that. In fact, there was a time in my career where I was so busy. My schedule was full. I was working in a very popular clinic that had a lot of referrals from local pediatricians. I was working mostly with children, adolescents, and parents. And my schedule was full, but I had no idea how to bring in my own clients. I was dependent on that clinic and the referral sources that were already in place. I was working for somebody else. At that same time, even though I was really busy, I had negative cash flow for 2 quarters in a row. I don't know what kind of math you do, but I can't sustain that. I was paying for the opportunity to provide service to my clients. Now that feels a little backwards to me, which leads into another point that I wanted to make. Compensation for a therapist is typically through a third party, like an insurance company. This means that there's a lot of paperwork to do and a lot of compliance issues to be aware of. At the time when I was so busy and working in that busy clinic, we had a staff for about 4 or 5 clinicians. We had a staff of 8 or 9 people just chasing the insurance dollars, doing the compliance paperwork, trying to manage all of the bureaucracy that supported the compensation plan. That was really expensive, and one of the reasons why I was having that negative cash flow issue. So I've shared with you the 3 main reasons why some therapists have a hard time paying the bills, like I did. Now I'm going to share with you 3 specific strategies that might help to get this turned around for you. But before I do that, would you take a moment to click on the subscribe button right here on the video so that you can be connected when we've got other great ideas to share with you. Now let's get to those strategies. The first idea I have for you is to consider a private pay option. Maybe you've already considered this, because if you're like me, the hassles of working with a third-party payer, with all of the paperwork that you have to fill out, with all of the expenses that you incur, with the contractual adjustments that they always want to make, it's hard to stay ahead of that. A private pay option, even if it's offered at a discount from your full billed rate, can sometimes help you to turn around the income problem. I've also found that a lot of clients are very open to this, especially if it doesn't require a diagnosis to be put into their official medical record. I remember when I first switched over to positive psychology coaching and going exclusively private pay, one of the things that helped my clients to get over that hurdle is realizing that that gives us the control on what kind of information goes into their medical record. So consider that private pay option if you haven't already done so, and look at some of the ways you might be able to do a more direct exchange between you and your client, leaving the third party or the insurance company out of the loop. Here's your second strategy or idea. Get some training in sales and marketing. Remember, your training as a clinician helps you to be a really great therapist, but maybe not such a great business person. I have developed skills in marketing and sales that have completely changed the game for me when it comes to compensation. These skills are not what they taught me in graduate school. So you have to seek out people who have reasons to know. I remember doing a training with Amy Walker. You can go look her up here on YouTube. She was one of my early coaches in sales and marketing. In fact, she's the one who helped me as a recovering clinician and therapist to understand that sales and marketing aren't the same thing. Marketing is letting people know that you're there, and sales is opening the door to your service. And they are different processes. I'm a little ashamed to admit I didn't even know that before I started working with Amy. I've also consulted with Lisa Sasevich. You can look her up. An amazing sales trainer. And I've hired coaches like Jody Moore and Michelle Villalobos to help me learn these skills. Find a coach, find a trainer, find a program that helps you to learn about marketing and about sales. That will make a huge difference in the economic engine. Now, here's my third idea, and I'm especially fond of this one. Consider adding a coaching service in addition to or in replacement for the traditional therapeutic services that you offer. When I got started in coaching, I was doing both. I was still doing some therapy and I was still doing some coaching. That got a little confusing to both me and my billing office and my clients. So I've moved it entirely in my practice over to positive psychology-based personal and family development coaching. I don't do therapy anymore. I haven't done that for over 10 years now. It's all on that positive end of the spectrum in the coaching. And that's created some flexibility and some economic results for me that I really enjoy. Consider adding that as part of your offering. If this is getting the juices flowing for you a little bit, if you've got some ideas that you might want to follow up on, I've got another video that you might want to watch next. Cue up that next video. 5 reasons more therapists switch to positive psychology coaching. And I'll give you some more ideas in that video, how you can further develop some of the ideas that are starting for you.